Kusuzangpo and welcome to this week's edition of Bhutan This Week. I am Kola Tikuragai. These are our top stories from the week. His Majesty appoints new ambassadors and Zongdas. Imposing fines for waste offence still not in practice in 13 districts. Class 10 board exam results declared, more than 71% passed the exams. His Majesty the King has granted that to appoint the new ambassadors to New York and Brussels, the new Ha Zongda, Lunsi Zongda and Shemgang Zongda. His Majesty also granted promotion to 27 officers from the Royal Bhutan Army, Royal Bodyguards and Royal Bhutan Police on Wednesday.
Pema El Dorji, who is serving as the Director General of the Department of Immigration, has been appointed the permanent representative of Bhutan to the United Nations. Soki Choden, Director of the Department of Bilateral Affairs, is the new ambassador of Bhutan in Brussels. Melam Zangpo, who was serving as the officiating Zongda of Ha, was appointed the Ha Zongda. Kyazang Jimmy, who is serving as Chief of Policy and Planning Division of the Ministry of Education and Skills Development, is the new Shemgang Zongda, and Jimmy Choden, who was serving as Chief Integrity Officer of the Asset Declaration Management Division of the Anti-Corruption Commission, is the new Lunsi Zongda. 18 officers of the Royal Bhutan Army, 3 officers of the Royal Bodyguards, and 6 officers of the Royal Bhutan Police were promoted from the rank of Lieutenant Colonel to the rank of Colonel. Sunampem for BBS News.
The Finance Ministry is estimating a total budget outlay of 72 billion Nitum for the fiscal year 2023 to 2024. Of the total estimated budget, 41 billion Nitum will be used for recurrent expenses and the rest will be used as capital budget. However, to meet the estimated expenses, almost 19 billion Nitum needs to be borrowed from the external and domestic sources.
The financial resources available for fiscal year 2023 to 2024 is 53.05 billion Nitum. Domestic revenue makes up over 40 billion Nitum of the available financial resources, while 9.8 billion Nitum is coming from grants. The fiscal deficit stands at 18.94 billion Nitum. The Finance Ministry in a notification said the country's economy is expected to grow at an average of 5% in the medium term. The expected growth is attributed to recovery in services, manufacturing and hydropower sectors. According to the ministry, with the phasing out of pandemic-related measures, the fiscal deficit is expected to be moderate. The notification also states that import and export deficit and declining foreign currency reserve is expected to improve amid rising hydropower exports. Hydropower export is also expected to double in the medium term. However, growth will be slow in the near term due to the pandemic and geopolitical tensions. Threats from recession in the global economy, increasing food and energy prices, and reduced tourism revenue are a risk in the medium term. Sringdiki for BBS News.
As of the end of last year, Bhutan's total public debt was almost 265 billion Nitum, according to the Finance Ministry's Public Debt Situation Report. Of the total debt, almost 238 billion Nitum is external debt, which the report states is of moderate risk as significant portion of it is for hydropower projects.
The total public debt saw an increase of almost 8 billion Nitum in the last quarter of 2022. The risk factor of the total public debt, which is at 129% of the GDP, is deemed manageable according to the report. Major chunk of the total external debt is on hydropower projects at 164 billion Nitum. The hydro debt comprises debt stock of 6 hydropower projects of Mandechu, Punatsanchu 1 and 2, Nikachu, Dagachu, and the upper and lower stages of Basochu. The report states hydropower debt is considered low risk as debt servicing for hydropower loans from India starts only a year after the commissioning of the projects, ensuring revenue flow before debt servicing starts. The remaining external debt of 73.2 billion Nitum is non-hydro debt owed to international organizations like the Asian Development Bank, International Development Association and the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA. The report states that non-hydro debt stock is within the threshold of 35% of GDP set by the public debt policy of 2016 during a 5-year plan period. The current non-hydro ratio to GDP stands at 31.4%. In the domestic debt front, most of the 27.9 billion Newton debt is budgetary debt from selling government bonds and treasury bills. As of the end of last year, the government raised 15 billion Newton and 12.2 billion Newton from selling treasury bills and government bonds respectively. The domestic debt saw a slight decrease of 361 million Newton at the end of last year. However, with the Royal Monetary Authority offering treasury bills worth 10 billion Newton recently and a further 1.25 billion Newtons worth of government bonds auctioned off in January, the domestic debt is expected to considerably increase in the first quarter of this year. With camera person Kyunchu Siri, Sharab Doji, BBS News.
Becoming a zero-waste society could remain a far-fetched dream for Bhutan if things continue to work at the current pace. The National Environment Commission started the nationwide regular waste inspection and penalizing waste defaulters since November last year. However, only 7 districts have been able to start penalizing waste offenders as of today.
Waste offences range from illegal waste dumping, failures in complying to waste segregation, to burning garbage in open spaces, among others. In Thimphu, the district and the Tromde officials collected more than 134,000 Newton in the last 2 months from the waste offenders. The other districts that started imposing fines on waste offenders include Paro, Ha, Dagana, Chuka, Sarpang and Wandipoda. The Commission says this has brought about noticeable change in the way people manage their wastes. The incidences of waste offence have reportedly decreased in the last few months. Meanwhile, officials from the rest of the districts that didn't record any waste-related offence said they were unable to catch the offenders during regular inspections. And some districts like Gasa, Shemgang, Hunsi and Tsirang said that waste is not a severe issue in their districts.
It could be because Tsirang Zonka is one of the cleanest Zonka. We have a very small town and the Zonka is not an industrial hub, or we don't have factories or manufacturing industries in the Zonka. And moreover, we have been providing the waste management services, especially collection of waste from the town area as well as in the Gyoks.
We have completed advocacy program in the district by 1st of January. When it comes to implementation and imposing fine, though there are waste issues, we cannot catch the waste defaulters.
Besides inspection, defaulters are caught from the complaints people lodged through the Zero Waste app launched in December last year. The NEC launched the app to make people custodians of the environment, whereby anyone with the app can lodge complaints against waste offenders. According to the environment officers, people are unable to complain as they find it complicated to use the app.
According to the feedback, they say that the app is complicated to use. Only certain mobile phones support the app, so forget about complaining. People do not even download the app.
The Zero Waste app has recorded over 80 offence reports from the 7 districts so far. The 2 Tromde offices and the district administrations imposed a sum of close to 300,000 Newton through the app. Of it, they have collected close to 200,000 Newton as of today. Namgidema for BBS News.
Civil servants across the country have falsely claimed 8.8 million Newton in daily subsistence allowance or DSA and mileage since 2020. This is according to the Royal Audit Authority or RAA. From the total amount, the authority has recovered 6.7 million Newton so far. The false claims were caught when the RAA verified data submitted by agencies using the Check Post Management System or CPMS.
Starting July 2022, the Royal Audit Authority initiated auditing through the CPMS to trace movement of civil servants. The decision to use CPMS data for audit purposes was reached during the annual audit meeting earlier in 2022. The RAA has yet to recover almost 2 million Newton. The authority has audited 10 districts so far. The highest false claims were from Thimphu, followed by Paro and Bumtang. The Royal Audit Authority said that if a civil servant repeats false claims, the official will be dealt as per the Bhutan Civil Service rules and regulations. Parent agencies of the civil servants found to have false claims were also cautioned. Audit officials said they considered some genuine cases. Some officials claimed that they completed their fieldwork before the allotted time by their agencies and that they should not be fined.
However, according to the Audit Authority, the DSA is meant primarily for the number of days officials have worked. If they finish their work before the allotted time, they should not be claiming DSA for the remaining days. With camera person Chimirizin, Chengadawa for BBS News.
An official statement has yet to be made on the case involving a female foreigner who got on a plane at the Paro airport without a ticket. The middle-aged woman is currently under police custody and officials say the case is still under investigation. But BBS was able to find out that the woman already deceived a number of people before making her way to the Paro airport.
Last Monday, the lady stopped a taxi headed for Thimphu, almost 3 kilometers away from the Rinchading checkpost in Chukha. After reaching Thimphu in the afternoon, the passenger did not have money to pay the taxi fare. BBS was able to locate and talk to the cab driver. Requesting anonymity, the driver said that the woman started begging from a few shops and paid him 300 Newton. She then fled after telling him she would come back with the rest of the money. Towards the evening, the lady stopped another taxi at Chunzom and headed towards Paro. The taxi driver told BBS that on reaching Paro, she then begged him to give her shelter for the night at his house as she did not have any money. But he refused and dropped her by the bridge near the Paro College of Education. The woman then went to a hotel and spent the night there but did not order any food. Early next morning, the woman left without paying the bill. All this was confirmed by the hotel owner. The woman then made her way to the Paro airport. According to Drucker, after she mysteriously skipped the security at the entrance gates, she proceeded to the check-in counters where she lied to the staff. She told them her ticket was with a relative who went ahead and that she would come back with it. The airlines company said she then somehow got through the immigration and security counters and straight away went ahead to board the plane. Drucker said the ground staff then communicated with the other team members. Upon verification, they found that the woman did not have a ticket and other documents and handed her over to the security. PBS also reached out to the Department of Air Transport, but they were not available for comment. For Namgewon Paro, Kinzang Hladen, PBS News.
More than 71% of students who sat for the Class 10 exams have passed their papers. This is a slight increase of 1.46 percentage points compared to the previous year's results. The Bhutan Council for School Examination and Assessment announced their results on Monday.
Fenat Bandari from Loseling Middle Secondary School is the national topper, having achieved 95% in the Bhutan Certificate of Secondary Education exams.
At this moment, I am overwhelmed with joy to be able to achieve something like this, and never did I imagine that this would happen. I think all my parents, my friends, my teachers are so happy for me and excited that something like this has happened.
And Mangthe Pelmo from Losel Jetsu Academy came second with 93.2%.
I would like to thank my parents, my mom, especially. She has always been very supportive and encouraging, and my teachers as well. Throughout my life, not just in class 10, from class PP to 10, I've had many great teachers throughout my life.
Chawang Zangmo from Khasadapchu Middle Secondary School stood third with 92.2%. In the Language and Culture Studies Certificate examinations, Sonam Chodin from Takchi Central School has come first with nearly 70.8%.
It's all thanks to the Almighty, my parents, and the unending support from my teachers in the school. I was not expecting this from myself, and today the results enthralled me.
Ugin Namgi came second with 68.4% and Diki Angzom stood third with 67.6%. More than 10,500 students sat for Class 10 examinations held in December last year. Of them, around 7,500 have passed. Namgi Demo for BBS News.
With Sharabsi College removing 7 Arts and Humanities courses and the College of Language and Culture Studies stopping intake for 2023 altogether, the high school graduates with arts background are worried about in-country college placements. Over 6,500 art students sat for the Class 12 board exams last year.
Earlier, out of the 9 government colleges under the Royal University of Bhutan, students with arts background had the option to apply to 5 colleges. This year, according to RUB's list of undergraduate and diploma courses, there are 7 colleges taking in high school graduates, but only 3 colleges will accept arts students.
Lorum chuba thake digiwe da sirik dam hochap digiwe lorum chuni pa thake me lobchu desulu thothi da thorim lobdana labni gi te gokap da chorik da chenik gizumchi da methobe sishuni lo da debe jebe odalu tenga ji sirik dam hochap digiwe de lorum chuni pa thake me lobchu desulu da sempam bombra chume sishuni lo iru da do tsigi banalu da jungi ngachi lobchu desulu da japchur kadi tata sedigra yusishuni lo da dalepa beru da sirik lobchu tsugi denle de jungi katole de japchur je nawo sewi rewa bombra kidi yusishuni lo.
It's very disheartening for the art students to know that we are not provided with enough scope compared to commerce and science stream. Though we have worked hard to get ourselves enrolled in the University of Bhutan, but due to the lack of courses, our dreams and our parents' dreams are shattered into pieces. So we would be very grateful if the education system could be more flexible and provide us with the opportunity to study further.
People have also been taking to social media to voice out their concerns.
Till now, arts students are the ones who don't get opportunity to choose colleges unlike science students. This is because no matter where we look for opportunity, the college's requirement has need for the science students. There are only a few arts students who have scored 90% or in 80s. We have to either top our schools and classes or we have trouble getting enrolled in colleges.
The College of Natural Resources offers Bachelor of Science in Sustainable Development. Paro College of Education provides 2 Bachelor of Education courses and a Diploma in Physical Education and Sports Coaching. The new courses offered at Sharabsi College are Bachelors of Economic and Political Science, Bachelors of Digital Communications and Project Management, and Bachelors of Data Science and Data Analytics. The 2 private colleges, Royal Thimphu College and Norbuling Richter College, offer Bachelor of Arts in Zonka and English, Media Studies, and Development Studies. Of the 6,543 arts students, 5,805 passed the board exam last year. I have with me a few Class 12 arts students, and they are concerned with the recent development, and they are not sure what they are supposed to do next. So tell me, you must have discussed this recent development with your parents, so what did they have to say about this?
When it comes to such situation, it is important to discuss with our parents. So families with a wealthy background, they are sending their children to Australia for further studies. As I did discuss with my parents, and they're saying that before sending me to Australia, they want me to search opportunity within our country itself.
For the development, I was very keen, very interested to work in the field of creative industry, but since I did not yet receive any scholarship, I guess I will be going abroad to pursue what I am interested in.
At first I wanted to pursue BA in English, but since that's no longer available, I now want to pursue education. So I'm planning on going to Power College for Education, but if that doesn't work, then I suppose I'll have to go abroad.
Let me ask a few questions. Number one is, did RUB give enough time for parents and students to prepare for the change?
So these thoughts are similar to the concerns shared by the people on various social media platforms. What awaits the students next is still unknown. With cameraman Doji Sering, Karmasamtin Wangda, PBS News.
The Zonka Curriculum for students is undergoing a reform. The subject is not only being made more interesting but also challenging. And this, according to the Education Ministry, is to make the subject attract more students while also demanding more attention from them.
The new curriculum will be implemented for classes 9 till 12 from this year. For the other classes, the ministry is still working to complete the new Zonka Curriculum. According to the ministry's school curriculum division, several studies and stakeholders have been involved to make the changes.
We have received many feedbacks on the need to revise the subject and include useful content. Likewise, there are many opinions that we need to constitute exercises that will benefit students. On top of that, we have collected views from communities, teachers and senior officials from the education sector.
Some of the changes include introducing enhanced grammar subjects, revising content, and constituting exercises to enhance reading, writing and speaking skills needed for the 21st century. He added most of the students do not have genuine interest in learning Zonka. He said children revise or study the subject only when the exams are near, since they find Zonka either too easy or too difficult.
If it was another subject, they start practicing early on as it is challenging. In terms of Zonka, only when the exam is coming, they will start studying a day or two before, since it is easy. So unless it is made a bit difficult, children don't take much interest in learning it. That is why we are revising the Zonka curriculum and making it a bit more challenging than before.
Besides making more students interested in the Zonka subject, he added another objective is to make the subject content useful to the students' everyday life. For Kamondi, this is Kipchu for BVS News.
Often in life, we divide ourselves in age brackets of young and old and restrict ourselves from doing things that we really want to do. Well, tell this to 68-year-old Naji from Samti's Kanduthang village and he will say age is just a number. What once started as a hobby of making bags, Naji has now turned it into a thriving business. Our Samsi correspondent Pasang Doji caught up with a man who makes a living by making and selling bags.
Naji, who is currently in his late 60s, took up bag making a few years ago. Today, from handbags to backpacks, belt bags to laptop bags and many more, there is simply nothing the man cannot do. Naji, originally from Ha, once owned hundreds of horses and transported oranges between Doroka and Samti before trying his hands at making bags. Working with horses, he sewed horse saddles but never got any trainings to sew bags.
Out of interest, I took one of the bags available in the market, carefully studied it and gave it a try. That is how I started making bags. I had never seen anyone making bags at that time.
What started as a hobby is now turning into a viable business. Given the good quality and durability of his products, people have started to recognize his works.
Those who know about me come to me saying that your bags are of good quality and last longer. Some of them ask about me, where I stay, and come here all the way from Doroka and many other places.
However, Naji is finding it difficult to attract one of his major target customer groups, the young people.
Since my bags don't have fancy logos and designs, young kids are not a big fan of my works. But durability-wise, my bags are stronger and last longer. As such, most parents convince their children to buy my bags.
With age catching up, and with his children showing little interest in learning the art, his fear is that no one will continue what he started.
Many people have been asking whether I am teaching my children to take up the art or not, but none of my children are interested in learning. I cannot convince them.
As of today, Naje sold over 10,000 bags in Samchi and to other districts. When business is good, Naje earns about 20,000 yutam a month. All his materials to make bags come from Siliguri in India. He makes about 4 to 5 bags daily. However, the number is falling. Despite this, Naje wants to continue to pursue his hobby and work as long as he lives. This is Pasang Doji for BBS News, Samtsi.
That is all we have for this week. Thank you for joining us.